Good luck, everyone.
Hello, good people of YouTube. Sealord here, and today we are evaluating a build that has been brought up quite a few times in my comment section, especially when I talk about the Commander rework. Often when I talk about the Commander rework, I talk about how it, for the vast majority of battleships, limited you to one of two builds. Typically either a main battery tank build or a secondary brawler build. And some ships from before the Commander rework that were pretty good with secondary builds were no longer in that position after the Commander rework because of the nerf to the secondary skills. And most of the secondary ships in-game had to have their accuracy artificially inflated by wargaming, like with the German secondary ships. Oh man, if you didn't see my video looking at the Grosse Kurfürst secondary build after the Commander rework on the PT server, it was terrible. And they had to go in and not artificially, but manually buff the base accuracy of the secondaries to make them to acceptable levels. Now, one of the ships I often bring up is the Shikishima, the Tier 10 Japanese special battleship. This is a ship that you have to purchase with steel that was advertised as a secondary viable ship because she has Harugumo turrets up and down her sides like you see here. Those guns are the lovely Japanese 100mm guns that have a velocity of 1,000 meters a second and can pin 30mm of armor base, which is great when you have a battleship with huge guns like the Shikishima, but they're in dual turrets and they have dual turret syndrome at times. And with the Shikishima's guns, if you build into them, are quite accurate. It's great DD repellent because you can slaughter most DDs with the great pins and the fast reload time of the guns. Not to mention as well, you can absolutely slaughter light cruisers with these guns as well. But after the Commander rework, the Shikishima's guns were not buffed. The secondaries, that is, were not buffed. And I gave it a couple of tries, and it was horrendously inaccurate compared to rework Shikishima, so I wrote the whole thing off, and she hasn't received any buffs since then. But many a times in the comment sections, there's always a couple of players saying, hey look, I still play secondary Shikishima, it works. So, when I saw this replay in my inbox from Chris, who he has a secondary build on this Shikishima, he actually has a 20-point commander, not a 21-point commander, so he doesn't even have a full secondary build. If you notice, he does only have 4 charges of his heal. He doesn't have the points left to get those last 4 commander points and put those into, well, I would assume he'd probably go for the additional heal. He might not. It's his build. Let him live his life. But he sent this in. I've seen the end result screen, and I might be wrong. Very much might be wrong about what I've been saying about the Shikishima for the past, what has it been, like a year since the Commander rework? And today we are going to find out. Nice direct hit on that U-192, by the way, Chris. So he's got a broadside St. Vincent here. He hits him for 8,300. And yes, this is a live reaction replay. I am watching this for the first time with you guys, so you're going to get to see my genuine first reactions to whatever happened to this replay. Like I said, I have seen the end result screen, but I have not seen how the man gets there. So let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, well, that's ship the secondaries can certainly chew through the Drake. Now, Sitrep, his DDs, half of them are already gone. Lovely pins through the bow of the Drake with those 20-inch guns. So they've already lost half of their spotting in literally the first 5 minutes of the match. You can't make up this about the DDs that just die in the first 5 minutes. Always seems to happen. Now, okay, so right here, his secondaries are, I can. Yay. So you can see the way the secondary skill works, it builds up accuracy over time by the gunners firing at the ship that they are targeted. Now, back in the day, the secondaries would instantly just snap to the target and you would get the accuracy buff. Now, combine that with, again, the 30mm secondary guns with their fast reload time, like you see right here with the build, you can imagine that with laser accurate secondaries like you used to have on the Shikishima, it was quite fearsome. So, that being said, though, even with the reduced accuracy, he's still getting some good consistent hits on the Drake with his secondaries. The secondary range is out to 11.6 kilometers, which is really darn good by tier 10 standards. Now, of course, this is the Drake, and it can, of course, pin pretty much everything on the ship, because, again, these guns can pin 30 millimeters of armor base. He also has a St. Vincent right there, too, which I think his secondaries are going to have a grand old time with. So I believe his secondaries are about at max. He gets his first kill there. Yep, they were at the maximum accuracy there. And now he's changed over to St. Vincent, which has dropped in... looks like... Nope. Okay, I don't think it's counting it yet, because the St. Vincent went dark. So he's got his first kill there on the Drake. He's probably going to shove some 20-inch shells through that St. Vincent's bow. Keep in mind, too, the accuracy you're seeing here with the Shikishima's guns, that's without anything into the main battery guns. So the ship's guns are pretty darn accurate, especially for a ship with only 6 guns and with the dual guns. There's this weird thing where battleships with the dual guns seem to have this really, really wonky dispersion at times. Looks like the St. Vincent has popped his super heal. Look at this. 3 of his DDs and his submarine are dead in the first 6 minutes of the game. And they've only managed to sink 1 enemy cruiser and 1 enemy DD. And of course, Chris did just sink that enemy cruiser as well. So, well, there goes the Alaska. So, at this point, 5, just under half of Chris's team is dead in the first 7 minutes of the match. Just a splash damage there on the enemy U-190. Alright, so the St. Vincent has popped back up. Ooh, he actually got the U-190. Very good. That's his second kill of the match. So the St. Vincent here is doing not the best maneuvers with St. Vincent. St. Vincent, you want to keep moving with the ship. You don't want to sit there and eat the shells, because that's not what the ship is about. It's a battle cruiser. It's not a battleship. Its survivability comes from its maneuverability, not its ability to face tank, like this St. Vincent is about to find out. Ooh, doesn't get it. Ooh, is he going to pick up a secondary kill here with his secondary guns? Ooh, God, St. Vincent gets through his cheek there. The Shikishima does have the Yami cheat, but the Wooster takes out the St. Vincent. Man, a couple more seconds, I'm pretty sure Chris would have had him there with his secondary guns. So if you look at the mini-map, the sit rep is that down south, the friendly team has managed to secure the A cap and sink the couple of enemy ships that were over here. B is about to be capped by the enemy team. And then up north, the friendly team, as we've seen, has pretty much gotten wiped. They're down to 1 DD, which is the split down here, which was very helpful in taking out the enemy DDs that did get knocked out down here. And now he's the lone DD that they have left for their team. Meanwhile, the enemy team has 3 DDs left, which is 3 times the spotting available to the enemy team. It is so important to sink the enemy DDs and protect your DDs when you're in a cruiser, when you're in a battleship, when you're in an aircraft carrier. That should be your #1 priority, because no spotting, can't shoot them, can't get damage in, can't sink them, you lose the match. Ooh, there's the Castones that the split has caught. Is he about to? Yeah, he should be within the split's. Yep, there we go. And thankfully, the friendly team does manage to get the memo there. They do take out the Castones. So now there's only double the spotting on the enemy side. Up there's a Z46, who for some reason opens up on a full health split. That is a decision right there, fellas. So he popped his engine boost. Chris gets his guns out on... Oh, come on. Get this. Get this, get this, get this, get this. Come on, just 1 shell. There we go. 2 shells. There you go. So that's kill number 3 for Chris. And the Shikishima manages to do, what was that, 1900 damage with 2 20-inch shells. I know he was at like 1900 HP, but I think realistically they would have done what, like a little under 3000 damage with 2 overpins, because it's no, they would have like right 3000 damage with 2 overpins. Oh, this is a beautiful shot. Get this Des Moines. Let's see. So that might be a dead Des Moines here, fellas. Looking good. What does Mr. RNG say? Yes! There you go. 26k in 1 strike to bring up his total damage. 122,000 damage. 4 kills so far. So we have a full health Key, a half health Yodo. There's a Vermont and a Schlieffen. And they still have a Marceau. Quite a fearsome DD left alive on the enemy team. As good of a gunboat as this split is, it ain't no match for a Marceau, which is a ship you see in every single competitive event in this game. It's at tier 10. COTS, clan battles, ranked Marceaus are everywhere for very good reason. Oh, nice hit! What was that? Was that the Key? He signaled the Key! Nicely done! Do it again! Let's see if he can do it. Oh, Marceau has popped up in secondary range. He's at half health, but he can still very easily win that trade with a split. But Chris's secondaries might be able to turn the tide if that Marceau is able to stay lit. Nicely done, Chris! Another Citadel on the Key. Wow, man, I wish the keys I faced were this squishy. Ooh, broadside Schlieffen, do it, clap him. Make this man cease existing, Chris. And he gets high caliber there with a nice 12k salvo. No citadels, though, oddly enough. That's very weird. Citadel's the key, but not the Schlieffen, which has much lighter armor than the key. But I guess, plunging fire at range, it does things. Okay, surely he's going to finish them off with this salvo, right? Nice 18k roll right here. All right, Schlieffen versus Shikishima with secondaries. Now, do keep in mind, again, Shikishima secondary. Oh, never mind. The Ohio got him. I was going to say that the Shikishima secondaries can pin all of the Schlieffen's extremities because 30 millimeter base pin, except for like the icebreaker bow and the belt armor itself. But the rest of the ship, the Shikishima secondaries, can very much pin. All right, so the key. Let's see if he picks up the key here. Ooh, that's a very full health Vermont. Now, what's happening here is that Chris's team is managing to stick together down south. Very nice, Chris. Gets the Amagi there. That's Kraken unleashing 5 kills for Chris. But as you may notice, there's still time on the clock, and there's still enemy ships left to be sunk. So, he's pushing into B. Well, yeah, like I was saying, if you notice, the team's sticking together. They're pushing together. No one's a straggler here. And I mean, if you look at it, the battleships are in front. The DD splits in front spotting. The cruiser, the boosters behind, leading the battleship's tank, leading the split spot. This is ideally kind of what you want to see happening in game. Ooh, is he going to get the Marceau? Is he going to get the Marceau? And nah, not going to get the Marceau. Marceau's a very fast ship, very hard to hit with battleship guns, especially with ones that are a little bit floaty. All right, so secondaries are opening up on the Marceau. I just got out of range. Yeah, they're not really going to do much at this point. Marceau does unfortunately take out the Ohio with his torpedoes. Ooh. Gives him a huge lead. Is it enough? Maybe he's going to depend on the French saturation. And if he hits him, unfortunately again, Marceau evades contact. Hello, Vermont. Is that a steel camo, Vermont? That's, interesting. So, Chris is out of heals at this point. He only had 4 heals to work with at the start of the match. So now he's ran through all of them. So, whatever damage he takes now is going to stick, and he won't be able to do anything about it. Gets an okay roll there on the Vermont. I mean, again, dual gun syndrome, and you're on a Shikishima with no modules into the main battery, so unfortunately the dispersion isn't going to be quite there. Oh god, that's a beautiful profile. Just battleship main brain, just neuron activation. Alright, so that's another 8k roll to the Vermont. That's Confederate as well. I thought he would have got a much better roll than that. Again, 6 guns, 2 shells go in the water. That's a big loss right there. Okay, so let's see. Bow on. The Marceau takes out the other Ohio. This Marceau is very good at sinking Ohios, it appears to. Now, I'm not sure what the Zal's condition is all the way out there, but I mean, he's pretty far enough away. He should be all right. All right, so now Chris's secondaries are opening up on the Vermont. Vermont's got a ton of 32 everywhere, so unfortunately, the only place those secondaries are really going to be able to damage is the superstructure of the Vermont, and then the Vermont takes out the Zal. God, this is coming right down to it. 1 DD, 1 cruiser, 1 battleship left per side. Let's see who can make it work. Both teams seem to be focusing down the other team's battleship at the moment. Oh man, the Yodo shells, the Marceau shells. And I'm guessing this Vermont's probably going to join in on the fight. What are these teams? They're focusing fire. Where are these teams when I play randoms? Worcester did pop his radar, probably in a vain attempt to capture the Marceau because he's at lower health. Oh, God. Now, thankfully, the split is healthier than their Marceau. Oh, there's the Marceau. Oh, look at that. Chris switches targets to the Marceau. This is, yes, do this. Murder, Chris. Now, don't murder Chris. Murder the Marceau, Chris. There we go. Combos are very important. There we go. Marceau is down, and now we have a Vermont. So that's their spotting. That's their harassment factor. Done. That was a very smart move from Chris. Rather than chasing the damage, he went after the target that would provide the biggest tactical value to his team. I think he's going to do it again. He is. He's going after their DPM with the Yodo. I know Yodo's got a longer reload, but it has that many guns. Unfortunately, overpins him at that point. It looks like he is giving his attention to this Vermont, probably going in for the ram if I had to guess. But yes, I believe that's what he's doing. Oh, come on. Just run out, run out, run out, run out. No! Takes one. He's flooding. Lets the shells rip. Fortunately, doesn't look like he's going to get to ram this Vermont. I'm getting tongue-tied. RNG says no on the Hail Mary shots from Chris's Shikishima. All right, so let's see what's going to happen here. I'm breaking off from Chris's point of view so I can have control of the camera. Vermont is going to eat some split torpedoes here. They're not very heavy hitting because they are the Pan-Euro torpedoes, but they're up to 920 points. As long as nobody dies, they got it. Now, granted, there's a Worcester that's broadside to a Vermont, but I'm believing the no armor, best armor is, oh god, he's very low, is playing its role there. Okay, so that's a dead Vermont there. These shells coming in from the Yodo at the Worcester. He's probably not going to be able to alpha strike him there. Okay, cool, he missed. So at this point, the split and the Worcester just have to live for 2 seconds. And, come on, roll over. There we go. Man, that was a good game. You do not see matches like this at all anymore, where it comes down to an equal number of ships and both teams are at a fairly similar points level. That was crazy. Okay, so let's see. So, man got 3,000 base XP. I think we can round up for the man to 3,100. And he really kind of has 7 kills here. He would have had that St. Vincent if he just had a couple more seconds. And then let's see, how much damage did his secondaries do? So he fired 774 shells, hit 125, and the secondary guns did 30,000 damage. Man, I was going to say you can add in the 25,000 for 55,000 damage, but he did start a couple of fires, I believe, on that submarine, so that's a little... Actually, so 12,452. So let's just discount the full 12,000 from the fires. So at... worst case scenario, another 13,000 damage from the fires that he started on the, 10,000 damage because it was 23 from fires and 1,000 from flooding. So 10,000 damage plus 30, 40,000 damage at a minimum from his secondaries for his 259,000 damage total. So, I mean, they did do better than I expected. He did actually get shells on target. I mean, this isn't an overly low amount of shells hit for what was fired. It's usually like a quarter of what you fire actually hits, even with like a full secondary build. In most cases, of course, range and what type of targets are you shooting at. You know, if you're firing at a big old fat battleship, that's obviously going to mean you're going to hit more. Like if you're firing your secondaries at a Vermont for a good portion of the match, but they did put in some work, and again, you add the fires to that, so a bit more, so at least 40,000 damage. So, I believe I was wrong with saying it's completely useless. Obviously, in this situation, it played very well into Chris's hands, but good job, Chris. That was a great game, dude. Very glad you sent that in. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Secondary build Shikishima, is it viable? Do you guys think I should give it a run here on the channel, give it a chance? And try it out for myself. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment. We're on our way to 50,000 subscribers. We are getting very close to that goal. We will do a 50,000 sub giveaway when we hit that goal, so make sure you stick around for that. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.